Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zachary Nolan.
My name's Carter Nolan.
We are covering episode 8, I believe, now, of the Mighty Ducks. We watched this a couple days ago, but we hadn't gotten around to doing this, mostly because we'd been a little busy with things.
The playoffs.
The playoffs, and then the other night we just released a goal or no goal. Go ahead and go check that video out and leave a like and tell us what you thought about it. Because it's short.
Not the Nashville one. That was the Vegas.
That was the
Minnesota
Vegas,
one.
the Minnesota no goal call.
The Nashville one we're going to be doing though right away after this, right?
Either that or later, depending on
Sometime
your
today.
schedule. Yeah.
Sometime today.
So let's just kind of get into this game, this episode. Gonna be honest, this episode feels, I don't want to say it's a filler episode, but it feels like, and this will be such a horrible comparison because this isn't even on the same like universe as this. This is the Deathly Hallows Part 1 to the Mighty Ducks, to this show. It really doesn't do anything. I say this as a Potterhead myself. Slytherin. Woohoo. Don't you dare!
Potter.
We exist!
No, I just.
But,
I don't think I've
the
heard
Deathly
that term.
Hallows Part 1 doesn't accomplish much, except for make you feel sad. R.I.P. Dobby. But, in this, I don't hate this episode. I don't like this episode. We'll go straight into spoiler review. If you don't like this show, this episode is right up your street because you're just like, yes, see, it's all this crap because I understand it's for kids. I do. I really, really do. But it just feels so played out. Does it not?
It feels dragged.
This is the only episode where I really only looked forward to the adult sections of the show.
Yeah, what the hell? So we had, what's her name, take a face turn.
A face turn. We had, yes, the boss of Alex.
Yeah, Alex's boss.
She was better. She was better. She's a tweener.
She's a good girl now.
But, because it turns out... because it turns out you become a good person when we find out that you're going through a divorce.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but, yeah, sure. And again, it's one of those things where it hints at that, something can't buy happiness thing, which I guess in this context is okay, but still.
But there's one...
It's very predictable.
There's one thing that that I feel like they should have done with that they didn't, and it's that why... I guess they wanted Alex to be the one to go and say all the stuff to get Bombay, but should it not
I didn't
been,
like this. Yeah,
but
no,
it
no.
shouldn't have... It should have been her.
Yeah,
Should it
so
not have?
let's cover the whole...
That's how you redeem yourself.
We're going to cover the whole, the adult arc right now. So, it's actually probably the most...
Actually...
Do you want to go through the kids arc first or the adult arc?
Adult arc, but there's one thing that happens at the very start of the episode that we needed to say. Alex gets fired at the start of the episode. That's how it starts.
That's good. That's a good way to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
So the adult arc is... There's two main ones. There's obviously Alex and her boss, but there's also Bombay and Coach T.
Oh.
Both of these are better than Both of these are better than the kids' plotline. And I'm actually going to summarize kids' plotline really shortly. There's a dance. Do I need to say more?
Yeah.
There's a dance, and therefore you already know what's going to happen. Because every character that even winked at each other once, yep, they're together. And don't get me wrong, there's some humorous moments, mostly because Nick is always 100% the best kid on this team. Just the funniest
and also, kid. There's a few humorous moments with him, and there's also a few with the other girl, the nunchuck girl.
I feel bad.
I don't know what her name is.
I know, but it's just one of those things where it's we knew where this was going.
Yeah.
It just doesn't... It doesn't really
resonate.
It doesn't resonate with me in the slightest, and that's also because I'm not a kid. But at the same time,
too cliched.
It's one of those things where I actually wanted to partially skip. But also, that being said, at least they didn't drag it out longer. If they had dragged it out the practice angle, an extra episode, I would have been.
Well, the next
pissed.
episode's the finale.
Yes.
So.
But okay. So that's pretty much the whole thing right there. It's just people getting together and people having misunderstandings. Oh no, you hug someone, therefore you must be seeing each other 24/7 together. Oh my. I guess nowadays in the COVID world, that actually is a viable statement. But like, this doesn't take place in that, so it doesn't matter. But like, the adult arc's better, obviously. So the mom and the boss's interactions are good because at least it kind of tries to humanize her. Although that being said, it's funny because I don't really know what you're going for with her because you built her up like this, and then you decide to change her whole character somewhat now, which doesn't really make sense to me because like if you're like this kind of just feels a little too out of left field for me, just a little.
Yeah, I can see that a bit. Now, one thing I will say is that I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with her in the last episode.
Yeah.
But I feel like that if they were gonna do this, I feel like they almost did it too late. In the sense of like they've spent like literally like 7 episodes building this shit up.
Yeah.
And then they switch it for the last 2.
So
like I feel like you have to push it back and have it be kind of more of a 4-on-4
so
and keep
let's
it kind
talk
of even.
Let's talk about the Coach T and Bombay one. Coach T and Bombay worked well together, very well in the scenes they're in.
Oh yeah.
So first off, they meet, and it's one of those things. It kind of reminds you of the Happy Gilmore. It's like you eat pieces of shit for breakfast because he just goes with the jokes that he says.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, no. It literally is like that with Bombay and Coach T. Because Coach T's just rattled
like,
by
no,
Bombay's
no,
presence. And honestly, I don't blame him. I would be too. There's a great scene where it's funny. They've kind of hinted at this, right? But they don't actually say it how the team affects Coach T's reputation because he's an arrogant asswipe. But what happens is they actually show something that's very realistic. They have they show a parent trying to vouch for his child in the sense of make sure you play him a bunch, and then accidentally bumps into him and spills his drink and stuff like that. But it's the pressure they're putting on the coach, and it's very interesting because that's very much a real thing that happens in sports all the time.
For sure.
Especially in such a high level hockey like the Ducks play.
Especially in minor hockey.
It leads to a great scene between Coach T and Bombay. And I'm going to be honest, this kind of then it completely reverses it because it doesn't really rationalize other than the fact that, lol, he's an asshole. But, like, where Bombay tells him the story of how he got in trouble for the money he gives out, right, to a kid. And it's interesting because it kind of ties it together, but it kind of doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot of gray area in that thing. But then it leads to, it seems like also, too, this is Disney's way of trying to call out the NCAA, which is hilarious because, kettle pot black. Don't get me wrong, I hate how the NCAA operates in terms of
they got some problems.
The player, the student athlete program. Yeah. It's broken as hell.
Yeah.
But that being said, Disney being the people that thinks they're gonna change that, and subtly, good luck with that. But you know what? God loves a trier. But then at the end, it just turns out that Coach T just flat out betrays him. And then they have this, thing on Bombay.
Because Disney's the voice of reason.
Yes, obviously. As anyone will tell you. But the thing is then they have this thing of Bombay getting a trial thing. And it's actually very similar to D3.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And I was hoping they would go a different direction than what they did. Because they just... So this is the thing that they did. They said, therefore, because you never sent a scout, you didn't bother to send a scout... Therefore, you don't have to... For some reason, Bombay is okay to coach. And in my head, when they announced this ruling, I'm like, okay, now tell them the team is disqualified. Because they didn't send a scout. You are now an illegal team. What the hell am I missing?
Well, the thing that I was so confused about was the angle of he did this thing with the NCAA years ago, and I was like, but... The NCAA already punished him, did they not?
Well, here's my thing. I was so hoping for...
Huh?
I was hoping that either... If Alex didn't do this, but I was hoping mostly for her boss to do this, just rip into the NCAA. Because, and just call him out and say how, that is a badass scene by Bombay, where he's just like, I will leave you up. I will hold you up in, conjunctions for years after this. And be like, yeah! Do that. You're like, I will
I wasn't the biggest
fan. Into you.
I wasn't the biggest fan of D3. However, that scene was a great scene.
D3 is a movie that gets more appreciated the older you get because it actually shows why Coach Riley was completely right.
Yeah.
and why this team needed defense. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, honestly, it's frustrating because there's so many things where you could have went a different way or could have honored it in a different direction. Also, if that bus driver turned out to be the guy who drove the limo,
I'm so hoping for
I would have been
that.
so happy. And fun fact, we double checked. Yes, he is alive. So technically, yeah.
Because we checked
But-
on the Riley.
Yes,
thing, yeah.
yes. But like, it would have been nice. Honestly, I don't know how much. Also, this is a little confusing. Why is there a hotel? You go to the hotel, right? That's for the
Oh,
tournament.
yeah.
And then they're on the bus again, and they're like, okay, now we're at States.
Yeah. Also,
So is States happening all in one day? Because there's like how many teams there? Because it's States. It's not just Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah, imagine you got at least 16 teams there. At
Yeah,
least.
yeah, they showed the bracket at the end.
Huh?
So why the hell was there this party thing for apparently like 2 teams?
Also, why
It doesn't make sense.
Why is there even a party? A party for what?
Yes, that's a great
You haven't
point.
won anything. Nobody's won anything.
This isn't the goddamn Olympics. I've played in city championships. There's none of that.
no.
There's none of
no.
that. I've played in provincials for baseball.
That'd be like
There's none of that.
That'd be like if the NHL right before they did the playoffs, they're like, all right, we're gonna have a party.
It would be literally the definition of the bubble, except all the teams just get to hang out.
It doesn't
Honestly,
make any damn
that's
sense.
pretty much where we're gonna leave it. And also, too, like we said, we're gonna do a goal or no goal later today or tomorrow, depending on how
Who knows?
time we are.
Sometime.
Also, check out the one that we released. Also, check out some of our jet ski reaction ones because one of it hit past 1,000 views, and that's amazing. We're really close to 450 subscribers, so do be sure to remember to hit the subscribe button because that really does mean a lot. Really helps us out. Leave a like on
Also-
this. Comment down below your thoughts on the show if you're watching it, or just
Also, I
anything.
believe our Mandalorian has now hit 1.4K. I think.
Yes, our Mandalorian finale, right. Yeah, just check around,
Thank
check
you.
out some of our videos, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on certain things. We'll answer. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Also, follow us on Instagram at Nolan Hawk Podcast, and and if you want to go into a Discord chat, check the link
In below.
Yes,
So,
thanks.
yeah.